Hey everybody, this is Dr. Heather again. Yes, sorry about all of the confusion earlier. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to get on here since this is not our regular scheduled time at my office, and hopefully I'm going to have fantastic Wi-Fi, and you have me until 4 o'clock Central Standard Time. So hopefully I'll be able to get some more questions answered for you and help create some more clarity. So if you were on at 1 o'clock, I want to sincerely apologize for any problems that you had getting online with the Wi-Fi. I don't know what's happening at my house, but anyway, I'm back at my office and I am here to help answer your questions about ketones, Keto OS, ketosis, and keto cream. So again, thank you for being super patient with me. I'm sincerely sorry about the Wi-Fi issue at 1 o'clock. The great thing is Facebook Live is taped and you can share this with your friends that might have missed it earlier or someone who couldn't even get online because they were working or driving. So we'll be here to help answer your questions. My name is Dr. Heather Carden. I'm a wellness physician in Overland Park, Kansas. So welcome if this is your first time on our Ask a Specialist live. I'm here to help you answer questions about Keto OS. I've been practicing a low-carb, high-fat diet for almost 20 years and teaching a ketogenic diet for about the same amount of time. So you can imagine how excited I was when I found out that there was actually a pure therapeutic exogenous ketones. Amazing that you can actually drink a ketone supplement and put your body into ketosis in less than 59 minutes. It's so exciting for me. We have used nutraceuticals in our office since we opened our doors. We've never had an exogenous ketone. So I'm very happy to be here. I'm very thankful for PruvIt that they really emphasize education, and that's why I'm here today to bring you value, help educate you on ketones, Keto OS, and PruvIt. So let's just start from the beginning. What are ketones? Ketones are simply a byproduct of fat metabolism. We have been making them since we were born. When we were in utero, we were burning off ketones. A lot of endurance athletes, their body automatically switches to ketones. It is a far superior source of fuel for our body. So why haven't we heard much about it before? Honestly, it's because we've been living on the standard American diet, which promotes 45 to 60% carbohydrates. And with that type of diet, your body is not allowed to get into ketosis to actually help your body produce ketones. When our body does them dietarily, it's called endogenous ketones. And when we take them or drink them in a supplement, it's called endogenously we're taking ketones. So Keto OS is the first ketone operating system with the first pure therapeutic exogenous ketones. So I'm going to get started here. I know a lot of you have been waiting a couple hours to ask your questions, so I am back on here and I am ready to read them. So Sarah's asking, how can it help someone with severe anxiety? So Sarah, ketones are magic signalers. They actually can help down-regulate the excitatory neurons in our body. So you'll hear a lot of testimonies, which is anecdotal evidence, of people saying that they use ketones or Keto OS and they share that they actually have a better focus, they have less nervousness, they have less anxiety. It's because ketones actually downregulate those excitatory neurons. That's the same reason why we sleep better. But know that if you don't get your question answered here and you're still looking for more information about ketones, you can simply Google ketones and anxiety or ketones and sleep. You're going to see a whole bunch of clinical evidence supporting what ketones or what we know about them. We've actually studied ketones for 100 years. We have been using exogenous ketones in different forms about the last 2 to 3 decades, but really on a military base or an experimental base. This is the first time ever that we have a pure therapeutic exogenous ketones that we can offer to the public. And again, that's what's so exciting for me. So I'm still going to continue to read some questions here. So Amber's asking, her friend has been taking Keto OS on a strict keto diet for 2 years. She took the max for 5 days and had a bit of a headache. So Amber, this is a great question. I'm going to expand it a little bit bigger. What that means is Amber's asking about her friend who's on a ketogenic diet, but know that you don't have to be on any specific diet. You can be on the standard American diet. You can be on a paleo diet, a grain-free diet, whatever word you want to put in front of diet. When you drink Keto OS, you're still going to get into ketosis, which is the amazing thing. So Amber's friend was already on a ketogenic diet, which means her body was producing endogenous ketones. It was burning fat for fuel. She added the max in, and the word max means maximum. Max is actually twice as bioavailable as any other ketone supplement on the market. So it's a maximum benefit you can get from beta-hydroxybutyrate, which is the ketone body. So Amber, your friend probably got a headache because there was probably too many ketones at one time. So she might just want to reduce her serving or make sure that she's drinking plenty of water with it. As we learn every week, 79% of Americans are dehydrated. So the major one thing that we find if people are having Keto OS or having ketones and maybe having a headache or maybe having constipation or some muscle cramps, it's because our body can get dehydrated. Ketones are a great natural diuretic. That's why they have the amazing effect of reducing inflammation and actually help taking the water out of fat cells because they are a mild diuretic. But remember, whenever you're losing the bad stuff, your also body will take some of the good stuff, which is magnesium and potassium and sodium. All those good minerals can be lost when we're losing inflammation or fat. So know that we need to replenish those. So we always recommend that if you're a person using Keto OS or exogenous ketones and maybe you're having a headache, make sure you put a good source of magnesium or multi-minerals in there and drink plenty of water. So again, and reduce the serving and let your body have a little bit of time to get acclimated to it. Drink it slower, maybe over 20 or 30 minutes. Don't try to shoot it like a shot. I get that question quite a bit on the support. How fast can I drink it? I'd rather have it like a slow, steady storm and let your body and all your cells trickle and absorb all the energy from the ketones. So Stephanie's saying, I have a friend who said they had high blood pressure previously. It skyrockets on the drink. So Stephanie's asking about blood pressure in Keto OS. Generally what I do is I read the question, then I try to open it up so it helps answers other question. So Stephanie, my first question would be, if someone has high blood pressure, are they using the caffeine or the Keto OS with caffeine? We know caffeine can have some great therapeutic benefits, but too much isn't good for anyone because it can increase our blood pressure, increase our heart rate. So make sure that if you're a person using Keto OS and you've shared with your doctor that you're using it, that you actually make sure you use the caffeine free. Drink plenty of water with it. Sometimes if people have a history of blood pressure, they might already be on a diuretic. Ketones have a mild diuretic effect, so they could be getting dehydrated, which will also cause our blood pressure to go up. So reduce the serving, number one. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water and use the caffeine free if you have a history of hypertension or high blood pressure. And again, we're not making any medical claims here. We're just simply sharing information about exogenous ketones and how to use them in your daily life. But always check with your doctor if you have any history of any severe medical issue. After drinking Keto OS, how long should it stay in ketosis? So Nikki, great question there. So Nikki, when we drink Keto OS, we are 99% effective. What that means is 99% of the time when you drink one serving of Keto OS, your body will get into ketosis in less than 59 minutes. How long will your body stay in ketosis after drinking Keto OS? There are several factors, from age to genetics to hydration level to maybe stress or prescription usage, those type of things. But you should experience being in a state of ketosis anywhere from 2 to 6+ hours after using Keto OS. The best way to monitor that, again, is go by how you feel, or you can actually get the urine sticks out and test. And speaking of urine test, I get a lot of questions because that is really the most economical way to tell if your body's in ketosis. I like people to tune into how they feel rather than the color of the urine stick. But if you're a person who loves those urine sticks and know that you're using Keto OS, you're checking your strip and it's turning color, whether it's a light pink, a dark pink, a purple, any color change at all is a thumbs up for ketosis. So don't get so focused on having the color go to purple or being high in ketosis. Know that any level of ketosis is still ketosis and your body's using it for fuel. So again, don't focus on the color of the urine stick. Focus on how you feel, how you're sleeping, how you wake up, how you recall things. All those tell us that our brain is really functioning much better, and those ketones are working as those little signalers to help turn on your brain. So Lee says, does having a high-fat, low-carb diet have long-term effects on your liver? So Lee, I'm going to specifically just refer to Keto OS. There's a lot of documentation and a lot of books written about living a low-carb, high-fat lifestyle and how healthy it is for your body using the right source of carbs and the right fats. But Keto OS is water soluble. We have no clinical data saying that an extended use of Keto OS has any negative benefits on your health, because you simply drink it and what your body doesn't use, it excretes. Being water soluble means you drink it, it gets into your blood system, and again, it's excreted out through your urine. It doesn't build up. With endogenous ketones, which happens on a ketogenic diet, not a low carb, not a paleo diet, but endogenous ketones are when you're on a ketogenic diet and your body is making those. There's actually a lot of great information on how healthy that is for your liver and your kidneys. You can also go to PruvItNow.com and go to the Help Center. There's a great information resource there. If you click on Health Center, the second tab over is Health Benefits. The first one's Product, so if you're wanting information about the product, the ingredients, the macros, that's all underneath Product. If you go underneath Health, it's going to tell you that it's safe for breastfeeding, it's safe for children, it's safe for people with type 1 and type 2 diabetes, it's safe for your liver and kidneys, but all the information is written out there in very clear clinical application so you can understand it if you're needing more resource on that. So Claudia is saying, I'm using Keto OS Max. Do I need to decrease my carbs and sugar for optimal results? So Claudia, as a healthcare professional, I always encourage people to reduce their unwanted carbohydrates or non-food items. I always encourage people to reduce their sugar. But with Keto OS, you do not have to make dietary changes. We do support the native 8 change, which is really just reducing the sugar. So I'm generally going to say yes. If somebody said, should I have less sugars in my diet? I generally say yes, and I think it is going to help you optimize the performance when using Keto OS or using Max. It is not a rule of thumb that you have to reduce your sugars, but as a physician, I am going to recommend that everyone reduces their sugars, and I do think you'll find a better benefit from using the Keto OS and Max if you reduce some of your sugar intake. When are we coming to the UK? So I'm going to let support answer that. We just launched to Canada. If you're from Canada, put a thumbs up or put a 1 there. We just launched to Canada September 8th of last month. I know that our legal department and our international marketing department is working, getting to other places. So just stay tuned to the Facebook page and they'll get those questions answered for you. So Wanda says, do I need more than once before I run to get in a keto state? So Wanda, I'm not for sure what question you're answering, but I'll just apply that to athletics. Generally, we recommend that you use, if you're doing a normal workout, which is an hour to an hour and a half, that you use your Keto OS about 30 minutes prior to workout. What that does is put your body in a state of ketosis. It increases oxygenation. Ketones are great anti-inflammatory, so it's going to reduce the inflammation that you build up during your workout. But if you're an extreme athlete or an elite athlete and you're doing 2-a-days, or you're doing, again, over 2.5 hours of workout, then I generally recommend that you go ahead and do some Keto OS, again, 30 to 40 minutes prior to that workout, and then again a couple hours afterwards, just to help rebuild a lean muscle mass. The Max has proteins or has amino acid in it, which actually can increase your protein. It will keep the inflammation down, because even after you stop your activity, the body can still produce inflammation, and ketones, as we know, reduce inflammation. So if you're an endurance or elite athlete, I would take some Keto OS before and then take some a couple hours afterwards to keep that inflammation down. So Pam is asking, if I start doing 2 servings a day, will that increase my fat loss? So Pam, I love this question. Keto OS is not a weight loss product. I said it's super slow, so it's not a weight loss product, but the benefits of ketones actually lead to fat loss, and that's exactly what you ask, is about fat loss. Normally we find that people overeat or make the wrong choices either because they're craving or they're hungry and they're tired. So what we do know about ketones is, number one, it reduces craving. So it's going to be less likely that you go for those foods, those comfort foods that you normally go to. It also increases energy. A lot of times people will drive through for a sugary drink or some type of smoothie drink or a piece of candy or something that's not really healthy because they're tired and they want a quick jot of energy. So if we can reduce that by using ketones, which helps stabilize your blood sugar, they help reduce your cravings and they make you feel fuller longer, you're less likely to overeat. And those things lead to fat loss. Ketones are also thermogenic. What that means is it actually increases your metabolism. As we age, we know that our metabolism is not what it used to be when we were little kids. So if we can use ketones to help increase our metabolism, our metabolic rate, we're going to burn fuel much more efficiently and not store it for a later date, which is generally what happens as we get older. So Pam, I'm going to say I would let you kind of biohack yourself, increase to 2 servings, which is optimal performance, and see what your body does. Yes, Bobby Poppy. Is it Bobble Papo? Anyway, yes, you can take vitamins and other supplements with Keto OS. Keto OS is not a protein powder. It is not a meal replacement. It's not a multivitamin. It's not a multimineral. So you can take Keto OS along with your other vitamins, supplementations, probiotic, vitamin D, iron, other nutritional stuff, absolutely fine. And it's absolutely fine to take with your other pharmaceutical ones. Just again, make sure that you check with your primary care physician before starting any nutritional product, along with the diet that they've recommended. So hopefully that answers your question there. Babo Poppy. Sorry, if you guys haven't trying to read it, it's actually kind of hard sometimes to read sideways. Great question. Who can use Keto OS? Anyone can use Keto OS. It is safe womb to tomb, which I say, because we know babies are born in ketosis. We know that it is safe for pregnant women. I will advise the caffeine-free always, because we don't want any extra caffeine when a mom is pregnant. We also know it's safe with nursing, because breast milk actually has the highest levels of ketones when she's nursing or having breast milk. We know that babies actually thrive on ketones. When they're born in ketosis, the first 18 hours, they're in a ketosis state. We know that babies also eat when they're hungry and stop when they're full. That's that toddler style of eating that happens happens when babies are in ketosis. So it is safe for anyone. We know that fats are safe for our brain. Our brains are about 60% fat. Our brain and nervous system thrives on healthy fats. Ketones are signalers. That's why we see it improving cognition, improving sleep, improving focus, improving awareness. So hopefully that helps answer that question. Trying to see if I've missed somebody's question here. Lee says, I've been gaining weight on Keto OS. Why is that? So Lee, a couple questions here. That actually can be common because people will try to induce or start a ketogenic diet right away along with the Keto OS. And I just had someone last week send a question to ask a specialist. And then we started looking at her diet. She was doing about 4 fat coffees a day. She was using the keto cream plus MCT plus butter. So she was having about 2,500 calories just in her coffee. So make sure that you still need to be in a calorie check with Keto OS. And if you're gaining weight, define if it's an inflammation process happening where your body may be holding on to more of the water or sodium, or if you're actually changing your diet at the same time. I know some people will implement the Keto OS, try to start a ketogenic diet and do way too much dairy, too many nuts, and too big of a quantity of nuts, and too many fat bombs. So just analyze what you're eating. Keto OS does help your body get to its own homeostasis, which means where your body's natural weight should be. And just make sure you focus on healthy greens and cutting out the sugar-based stuff. So if you think you're gaining weight due to inflammation or water retention, it just means it's too many ketones too quick for your body. So just simply reduce the serving for about a day. Really drink a lot of water to help flush out the inflammation. And then that sudden increase in weight will actually come back down. I tell my patients sometimes when you're trying to remodel your house, it looks a little worse before it looks better. The same thing can happen if you're using Keto OS for fat loss, that things may not happen as quickly as you want, but just give it a little bit of time. What Keto OS does is it's ketone bodies that actually are working at a cellular level. So deep down inside your cells, they're giving the mitochondria, which is the energy house of our cell, it's giving it more energy for you to focus when it's actually working in your bloodstream. So give it time and be patient with your body. If you're a person who's got quick goals in mind, again, just go slow and steady and eat a well-balanced meal with high and healthy greens and drink lots of water. So Gary says, will additional MCTs prolong the ketosis effect if taken together when on a ketogenic diet? Gary, I love MCT oil, and that's why we have the 2.1 actually has the MCT oil with it. Gary, that's going to really vary from person to person, but yes, if you drink Keto OS, you put ketones directly into your bloodstream, your body's in a state of ketosis. If you're backfeeding with MCTs and healthy fats, that will helpfully, logically prolong the use of your body using ketones, which could prolong the time that you're in ketosis. So I think that's a great addition to have that. I know a lot of people love the chocolate flavor, which is 3.0. Don't be afraid to put extra MCT or coconut oil or grass-fed butter in there if you want to get more healthy fats in there. So you can add that also to the 3.0 or the max if you're wanting more fat. So hello from Australia. I guess I said that earlier at 1 o'clock when my internet crashed, but back on. Yes, hello around the world, and so excited to have everyone on here wanting to learn more about ketones and Keto OS. So Karen's asking, can you tell me more about Keto OS and someone with diabetes? So Karen, there's a great description in the Health Center about type 1 and type 2 diabetes that yes, Keto OS is safe, but make sure that they are still being monitored by their primary healthcare physician. Know that ketones don't require any insulin. So if a person is insulin dependent or type 1 or type 2 diabetes, know that their insulin level may be switching up or down. So again, make sure that they're checking their blood sugar levels, make sure they're consulting with their physician, but there's a great 3-paragraph explanation in the Help Center about Keto OS, type 1 and type 2 diabetes. I would also recommend the caffeine-free because too much caffeine can also spike sugar. So I would make sure that you're using the Keto OS caffeine-free. And so happy to say for the 3rd week now that yes, the Max is available in caffeine, yes, the 3.0 is available in caffeine-free or uncharged, and yes, the 2.1 is available uncharged caffeine-free. Jennifer says, why would someone have a headache every time they're drinking Keto OS? So Jennifer, a couple of things. Number one, ketones we said are mild diuretics. So if they're dehydrated, that could cause headache or fatigue or nervousness or muscle twitches. So make sure that they're very well hydrated. A general rule of thumb is a ½ ounce per body pound. And then I would actually have them reduce their serving. It may be too many ketones too quickly. So if they're doing a full serving, reduce to a half a serving and maybe drink slower over 10 or 20 minutes. The third thing they could do is actually have with some extra fat or some extra protein, which will slow down the absorption. Again, just make sure they're well hydrated. And then fourth and final, I'd add a magnesium supplement. There's a lot of information about magnesium helping people who have chronic headaches or are prone to headaches. So water, reduce the serving, eat it with some fats or proteins, and take a multimineral. So that should actually help reduce the occasion or occurrence of headaches. And Jennifer clarified that she is taking Max. So Max is the strongest Keto OS. So maybe just start with a fourth of a serving and see how she does. I know that I definitely can tell the difference between the 2.1 and 3.0 and the Max, because the ketones are blended together to make maximal energy that you get from the ketones. So, and you are very, very welcome. So I'm looking to see if there's some questions that I missed earlier. I think because of the internet issue, there were a few questions. So I will try to go back and try to type in some answers in case you missed those. But I want to run down the difference between all the products that PruvIt has to offer. That's a really common question. Which one should I take? How should I take it? When should I take it? So we know that one serving is considered a therapeutic serving. We know that 2 servings a day is optimal performance. Which one should I take? Really depends, one, on flavor, because some people are very picky about their flavor. They all have a little bit different benefits of twist. So if we start with the first one, which is the 2.1, it has MCT oil, which is a medium chain triglyceride. So you drink the Keto OS, the beta hydroxybutyrate, our ketone body, gets right into your bloodstream. Then we have the MCT oil being processed through your liver and actually adding more ketone bodies to your body. But if you're a person who doesn't do well with high fat diets, even high healthy fats, then I would probably recommend that you don't use the 2.1 and maybe use the 3.0, or a person who's had issues with a higher fat diet. The 3.0 is chocolate. It is dairy-free, and all the products are gluten-free, soy-free, nut-free, no artificial flavoring, no artificial colorings, no additives in there. But the 3.0 is a chocolate flavoring. Instead of a medium chain triglyceride, it has butyrate, which is a short chain fatty acid. Butyrate's a great anti-inflammatory, again, gives great energy, and it is attached to the beta hydroxybutyrate along with a prebiotic called inulin or chicory root, which is the same thing. And we've used inulin or chicory root around for centuries. It helps turn on the healthy gut bacteria. It's called a prebiotic. It also helps stabilize blood sugar. So it's been great for people who are maybe have some sensitivities to blood sugar or caffeine. We've used chicory root to help stabilize those insulin levels. And it has 2 amino acids that are very ketone friendly. So it's a great mixture of the best of both worlds. The ketone body, the butyrate, the chicory root for digestion, and the amino acid. The Max, which is the Maui Punch, is actually the one that if people have any sensitivities at all to anything, because there's a little bit of dairy in 2.1 used to plate the ketone body to the MCT. The Max is certified vegan. It is certified kosher. The salts are certified kosher. It is sport informed approved. It also has a blend of beta hydroxybutyrate, so it's maximally effective, which means it's twice as bioavailable, and it has specific ketone bodies, specific amino acids that can actually make more ketone bodies, like leucine can actually break down into acetoacetate, which is another ketone body, and it can increase protein synthesis. So you get all the great benefits of the ketones plus the additional amino acids without having to worry about the fats like the butyrate in 3.0 or the 2.1 that we find, or the MCT that we find in 2.1. So I'm going to get back to a couple questions here. Adam, I don't know when it's going to be available in Finland or the UK. Just stay tuned. Turn your notifications on for the PruvIt Facebook page, and they will get the information to you. I don't get it any faster than you do, so I'll find out on the PruvIt Facebook page just like you will. So can taking Keto OS cause ketoacidosis? So Kelly, great question. We get this every single week. Ketoacidosis is a state that happens with an unstable type 1 diabetic and their ketone bodies get above 25 plus. We know that ketosis levels are 0.5 millimoles. That's considered ketosis 0.5. Ketoacidosis is 25 plus. All that's actually happening in the liver. With Keto OS, we know that it's water soluble. So the liver doesn't have to do anything. It's not processed. It has nothing to do with endogenous ketones. This is exogenous ketones. So we have not found any clinical evidence that we've had any buildup of ketones or even gotten the levels high enough to even be considered ketoacidosis. I think the highest levels that I've heard in our lab testing, taking multiple servings of Keto OS, has been maybe about 4. Again, that's really, really far from ketoacidosis, but in the Help Center, there's a great explanation of the difference between ketoacidosis and ketosis and the safety of ketosis using exogenous ketones. So for more information, Kelly, go to the Help Center. It's really outlined very clinically and helps you understand the difference and the safety and efficacy of Keto OS. So Performance Improvement Clinics is asking, is there a time period that Keto OS should be consumed, i.e. mixing up? So yes, the packaging generally recommends that you mix up as much Keto OS as that you can drink within 1 hour. So with that being said, you don't want to mix it up and maybe drink a bit in the morning and then your saliva contaminates it. And this is true for any drink that you're having. And then later on, your saliva can actually break down, especially in the 3.0 with the chicory root. We're turning on healthy gut bugs. So I would generally say recommend drink whatever you can drink within an hour and then mix up another serving following. So I know I have been guilty of mixing it up and leaving it in the fridge, but standard recommendations through the company is mix what you can drink in an hour and consume it within an hour's time of mixing. So Frank's asking about concussions. I think that's the third concussion. I love that. I know we're seeing a lot more rise in concussions with kids these days and also with adult athletes. So when we just think about the basic principles of ketones, not specific to concussions or to ankle sprains or knee sprains, just inflammation. We know there was a paper published last year that beta hydroxybutyrate inhibits the production of some inflammatory markers in our body or inflammation cascade, specifically NLRP3 inflammasome. Again, Google beta hydroxybutyrate and inflammation and you'll find those studies. So if we think of concussion being the same thing as an inflammatory process, then yes, I would say that Keto OS helps with concussions based on the principle that ketones help with inflammation. So again, not making any medical claims, I'll say that again, but just letting you know that when you think of any injury, whether it's acute injury or a chronic injury like arthritis, just think of that as inflammation. We know that ketones help inflammation. We know they give more oxygen, almost 38% more oxygen than glucose. Oxygen is a generally good antioxidant itself and good for healing process. So Joel says, when you're using Keto OS and eating carbs as well, what will the body prefer? So Joel, I think this is a very, very common question and creates a lot of confusion for people. So I'm going to take a drink of water here. So your body uses whatever fuel is most available. So if I don't even have a carbohydrate here in front of me, but if I had, say, a block of cheese here or a cheeseburger or a big pound of bacon and I had Keto OS, and if I have them at the same time, the Keto OS is water soluble. It does not have to go through any digestion process. So when I'm having my carbohydrate or other fat source with the Keto OS is instantly delivered into my system. That's why you can check your finger in about 20 or 30 minutes or check your urine in less than an hour and be in ketosis. Normal digestion process can take anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours. So while my body's digesting the bacon or the carbohydrate or the protein or the fat or whatever, my body's already utilizing the Keto OS for fuel. Then as my body digests those other fats or carbs, those will be used for fuel. Whatever is not used is stored for the rainy day. And so how our body does that is whether it's from fats or whether it's from carbohydrates or proteins. If our body didn't need that much energy and just think of food as an energy source, then our body will save that for a rainy day. But with Keto OS, it's water soluble. Our body uses it and utilizes it very, very quickly. And again, it will stay there from anywhere from 2 to 6 hours, depending on what your body's needs are for utilization of energy. And then your body will excrete whatever's left over. It does not pile up or get stored for a rainy day. So hopefully that helps clear that question. Frank says, what is meant by BHB? Frank, it is one of our ketone bodies, one of 3 that we produce called beta hydroxybutyrate. So I generally say BHB because it's quicker, but beta hydroxybutyrate is one of the ketone bodies our body naturally produces endogenously, but exogenously, it is the ketone body found in all of the Keto OS products and the Biomax. So super great question. Sean says, what's the best way to figure out how to use half of this? Well, I know some people have actually dumped it out and measured it, or they have an old scooper from their can and they measure out half a serving from there. So I would just suggest that you measure it and say if it's a tablespoon and a half is half a serving. You can eyeball it if you want to, or divide it between 2 containers as you dump it. One you'll reconstitute with water later and one you drink now. So just make it simple, whatever works for your brain. So Sheila's asking about Keto OS and Hashimotos. So Sheila, I'm going to do what I always do and make that a bigger umbrella. Hashimotos is an autoimmune disease that actually affects the thyroid. So when I talk about thyroid and fuel, because thyroid is the ignition for our body, our adrenal glands are the engine for our body, and think that our body must run on fuel. We get the fuel from the foods that we eat. The fuel either being glucose from carbohydrates and proteins, or ketones from fats. Now we know we can actually use a very far superior source of fuel like ketones, specifically beta hydroxybutyrate, to let our body run on. So if our engine's having trouble starting or stopping and we give it a superior fuel source, it makes sense it should run better. If we're giving our engine, which is our adrenal glands, a better fuel source, a more utilized fuel source, one with more oxygen, one with more energy, it makes sense that our bodies are actually going to run better. And we have that clinical data over the last 100 years. Hashimoto's, again, is taking it to the next step. It is an autoimmune disease. So just speaking of anything autoimmune, we know it's an inflammatory process and the body's not firing properly. So if we know that ketones reduce inflammation, no matter what the itis is, that means inflammation, we know that our body should respond positively to putting ketones and lower carbohydrates into our body. Again, not making any medical claims, but put the very simple blocks together and think of your body just as a car and how it runs, and know that if we give it a better fuel, not a cake or cookie or pie or something with the artificial food coloring, that's going to be hard for our body to process and run on. But if we put a very simple fuel in, a very elite fuel, so to speak, like ketones, the body runs much more efficiently and the engine and the ignition run much smoother. So hopefully that helps clarify that answer. So Kayla says, good source of those with Parkinson's who are interested in Keto OS. Kayla, Mary Newport, Dr. Mary Newport has a great book out called Coconut Oil, Ketones, not ketones, but I think it's coconut oil and Parkinson's and dementia. But we do know when you Google any movement disorder, specifically Parkinson's, and you Google ketones, and you Google things like coconut oil, which the MCT comes from in the 2.1, you're going to see a lot of amazing information where we see a reduction in muscle movement using ketones and any type of movement disorder. So I would just Google that yourself and do some homework. If you have further questions, please send them into support@PruvItHQ.com. But know that with the internet these days, you can get a lot of the clinical data just at the touch of your fingers using that. So Google Parkinson's or movement disorders and ketones, and you're going to see a lot of information. Again, the 2.1 is a great fuel for that person because it has the addition of the MCT oils in it. So Ian's saying, I think Ian is saying that instead of looking at the scale, if you're the person who said you might be getting some weight, go by how you feel. Maybe get a piece of string out and measure yourself, or maybe get a tight pair of jeans or a tight t-shirt. Don't always go by what the scale says. And Ian, thank you for mentioning that again, because I know No Scale November is coming up very, very soon. So I will be posting a lot about No Scale November, which means I like people to go to an economical discount store, get a very tight shirt if fat loss is a goal for you, and buy one that you wouldn't wear in public, and every Sunday put it on till it fits, and then buy the next size smaller, and that way you can see if you're trending towards your healthcare goals. But again, Keto OS is not a weight loss supplement. It does lead to fat loss. So Lionel's asking about Keto OS helping with the immune system, or ketones themselves. So if we just think of our immune system as needing more oxygen and a better fuel source, that's where we can link together ketones and Keto OS, helping our immune system function better. We know that oxygen is a very, very vital component to our body. If we don't have oxygen, we don't survive. So if we can give our body a fuel source that provides more oxygen, then it makes sense that our immune system and our whole body should function much better overall. Yes, you can take vitamins with your Keto OS. We did mention that earlier, but know that Keto OS is safe with any type of vitamin, any type of mineral, probiotic, fish oil, vitamin D supplement. It's not anything like that. It's not a multivitamin. It's not a mineral. It's not a protein supplement. It is a pure therapeutic exogenous ketone. So think of it as a fuel source for your body to run more efficiently on, and think of it as a signaler for your brain to help do things like reduce craving, increase focus, increase sleep, and all those things will happen. Beth talked to you about a person who introduced you to... Okay, I'm here to answer, sorry, it's hard to read these sideways. I'm here to answer questions about the Keto OS product. If you have questions about the comp plan or how to get free product, or when we're launching to other states or other countries, then that would be a question to go to support@PruvItHQ. Turn on your notifications to this page, and you will see a lot of really great information there that can help support you and find the answers that you're looking for. So Tanya's asking, can someone take it forever? Is there a limited line? So Tanya, that's a great question. Keto OS is water soluble, just like water soluble being water, or vitamin C is water soluble. So what that means is that your body does not store it. If something is fat soluble, like vitamin D or bacon or vitamin E, those things are fat soluble. Your body actually stores those things that are water soluble, like ketones, vitamin C, vitamin B. Water soluble means your body just excretes those out. So we have found no clinical data saying that more than 2 servings a day of Keto OS has any negative clinical effect on our bodies, but know that optimal performance suggestions or recommendations are 2 servings a day. Yes, Renee Roy is asking, is this safe for a person with insulin? The answer is yes. Just make sure they're monitoring their insulin and they're working with their healthcare professional to help maybe reduce their insulin load or to get healthy. So yes, it is safe for someone with type 1 or type 2 diabetes. You can find all that information in the health center. So Sheila says, is it just as good to take half a pack during the day, or do you need to take a full packet? So Sheila, the serving size really varies from person to person, and it varies really on what your daily activities are. I know some people take Keto OS and Keto Cream first thing in the morning. They get their body set for fat fueling. It gives them energy. It gives them focus as they start their day. I know other people want to use Keto OS between 1 and 4 o'clock. That's when generally they're fatigued. They want to take a nap. Their energy starts to dive down. They had a high sugary diet. Their blood sugar may be crashing, so they're super tired at that time. So some people actually like taking the Keto OS, either the first or an additional serving between 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock. I've heard other people saying that they actually like taking the Keto OS about 45 minutes before bedtime, especially the caffeine-free one, because ketones downregulate our excitatory neurons, which means they help calm our body and our brain down. So some people enjoy taking the Keto OS before bedtime and they sleep much, much deeper. People are on a true ketogenic diet trying to keep their ketone levels elevated, like to take the Keto OS before bedtime. So when they wake up, they feel nice and refreshed. It can work overnight in your body, reducing inflammation. So there's not really a set time or a set dosage that you need to take it for you, but know that all of our clinical studies are done with one single serving, putting you into a state of ketosis. So yes, some people find that 3/4 of a serving is right for them. They feel great with that. They feel like they have a ton of energy. Other people feel like they need a serving and a half to have that energy. I know my husband likes to have 2 full servings a day, and he feels best and best focused with that and sleeps the best. So just vary it with your body, but know if you're dehydrated one day, or if you have more stress one day, or if you've overworked out one day, that your body may need a little more of the Keto OS or a little more ketones in your system to help feel better and recover. So Kate's asking a great question. So Kate's asking gluten-free, vegan, lactose sensitive. So Kate, I'm going to run down these pretty quickly here. So the Keto Cream and 2.1 have dairy in it. All the products are gluten-free, all are soy-free, all are nut-free, mushroom-free, and shellfish-free. Know that the 2.1 does have a little bit of iodine, as does the Keto Cream, and that simply comes from a little bit of dairy that we use to plate the MCT in 2.1 to the beta-hydroxybutyrate. But know that the 3.0 is dairy-free, gluten-free, soy-free, so we'll go through those. And the max is actually certified vegan. So that because the taurine can sometimes be from an animal source, it's actually from a vegetarian source. So the max is certified vegan and it is certified kosher. The salts are certified kosher. So if you're a person who's had a lot of food sensitivities or had some issues with that or concerned with it, then Max is absolutely the best product for you because it is certified vegan and the salts are certified kosher. So Natasha's saying, could I explain a little bit more about fat versus weight loss? So I absolutely will, because I know when we look at the testimonies on the Facebook page that we do see people reducing their body composition, and that's the word I like to use, reducing their body composition, because the scale may actually go up as your body gets healthier and you gain more lean muscle mass. So when you talk about weight loss, that actually has to do with losing muscle mass and losing water and losing protein. We talk about fat loss, it is absolutely that, it is fat loss. Body composition refers to the percentage of body fat in our body. So when people are using Keto OS to help get a better body composition, whether to gain lean muscle mass and to lose fat, how that works is that ketones actually decrease our cravings. Most people have an issue with eating because they're hungry all the time or they're tired and they go for those carbohydrate fuels. So if you can give your body a better fuel source that doesn't make you crave things and doesn't make you hungry, and actually takes those things away and stabilizes your blood sugar, you're more likely to be successful on a fat loss journey. We also know the amino acids in 3.0 and Max increase lean muscle mass. So again, like Ian said, don't only go by the scale, because we know that fat occupies more space than muscle. So think of that on a piece of chicken or meat when you buy it. What really weighs the most is the muscle. So the scale doesn't tell the whole story. That's why we never say weight loss, but we do say fat loss or body recomposition, because we know it's a superior fuel source for every single cell in your body. Mark says, yes, Mark, all of them are nut-free. The 2.1 has coconut and palm kernel oil. So if you're sensitive to coconut, which some people are, I know some people have a tree nut allergy or a peanut allergy or a soy allergy or even a coconut allergy, know that the MCT oil in 2.1 is from coconut and palm kernel oil. So if you have a nut sensitivity, everything is nut free, but know that we do have coconut in 2.1, because I know sometimes that does go along with the nut allergy. So Mark, I hope that answers your question. You can also go to the Help Center under product, and it will outline each of the ingredients and all of the products for you. So Kelly's saying keto is high in sodium. How does that work with high blood pressure? Kelly, I'm so happy that you asked that question, because that is a big concern for some people just because of lack of education. So why do we have so much sodium, or why is there sodium? Not so much, but why is there sodium in Keto OS? Number one, ketones are by themselves are very acidic, and we want to make them more alkaline. So the first thing we do is we add sodium to them to help make them more alkaline. We also know that ketones are a mild diuretic, so that's how we lose inflammation, we lose water out of fat cells. That actually, when we're losing the toxins out of our bodies from natural decrease in inflammation, we're also losing healthy sodium, which every single cell in our body needs. So the sodium is there to help replace what is lost with the natural anti-inflammatory properties or inflammation that's lost, and with natural fat loss. But if you are concerned about it, then please use the Max. It has the least amount of sodium in it. And again, you can break up your servings so that you're not getting all that sodium at one time, but note it's there to help replace what is lost through the natural process of digesting ketones. So it's actually at a very safe level. We've tested it in the laboratory. And if you're a person who is on high blood pressure medication and already on a diuretic, please make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Check with your physician. Make sure that you're getting your sodium, potassium, magnesium checked routinely. And most people on prescriptions or with blood pressure medications are monitoring that. But know that sodium is a healthy element for our body. We should have sodium in every single cell. So Lionel's asking the difference between 3.0, 2.1, and Max. So we did mention that about probably 10 minutes ago. So I'm going to wind up the call here. It is 3:51. So I'm just going to answer a couple more questions here and then review the products again super quick so everybody understands when they're doing it. Dana's asking, is it okay to drink my coffee with keto cream in the morning? So Dana, yes, keto cream is great any time of the day. And what is keto cream? Because we've not really talked about it much today, and I love keto cream. So we talk about putting healthy fats. Keto cream does not contain any ketones, no ketones, but it gives your body all the resources to make healthy ketones. It gives you MCT powder, coconut powder, and Ceylon cinnamon. So our body can take the MCT powder and the coconut powder and make its own healthy ketones from it, and those are called endogenous ketones. So no exogenous ketones in keto cream. But know that we also have it blended with a patent-specific Ceylon cinnamon, which is great for inflammation. It's a great antioxidant. It has a great flavor to it. Cinnamon's been around for a very long time and clinically used to help with blood pressure and help lower insulin. So there's a lot of health benefits to cinnamon, but know that this is a great way to get very digestible, easy to use fats and cinnamon into your body. And you can mix it with anything that you want. You can mix it with coffee. You can mix it with tea. I had a friend make biscotti out of it yesterday, so she made a biscotti cookie. I don't have the recipe, but she made that and brought it over to my house last night out of the keto cream. The recipe is actually on the Facebook page if you put it in the search bar. But also for kids needing more healthy fats, especially in the morning or after school when they're hungry before they go to practice, know that you can mix this up. Like I said, make a popsicle. You can make a root beer float out of it using coconut water. You can make a milkshake or icy shake using either coconut LaCroix or coconut milk, almond milk, flax milk. So I always refer to things in non-dairy just because a lot of people do have a dairy sensitivity, and there's a lot of health benefits to coconut. That's why it's got coconut powder in here. So know that this is healthy any time of the day. It's healthy with anyone. It does not have any caffeine in it. So you could make a nighttime ice cream out of this if you're needing something to get a few more fats to get you through the night while you're sleeping. So don't be afraid to mix it up with something hot or cold, and know that it's good any time of the day. And you can have anywhere from 1 to 2 servings. It does have about 160 calories. So I know people who've overused the keto cream and their scale has not gone in the way they wanted it to because they're maybe adding too much to your diet, but know that this is healthy any time of the day. Performance Improvement Clinic is asking, can adolescents use Keto OS? The answer is yes for athletic performance. The Max is Sport Informed certified. It comes in caffeine and uncharged. We know that in our help center there's information about using ketones with babies, breastfeeding moms, children's, adolescents. So ketones are safe womb to tomb. Yes, it is safe for athletic performance. Make sure they're mixing it with water to stay well hydrated throughout their workout. And I want to thank everybody for the super nice comments. I'm going to ask one more thing why I actually wind up our Ask a Specialist. If you are new to the call, put a 1 in the box. If you are not new to the call and you've been on Facebook Live before getting some questions answer 2 in the box, and put a 3 in there if I didn't get your question answered. That way I'll know to go and look for that and try to help answer that. And with that being said, if we didn't get your question answered, because a lot of times there's several hundred questions that happen in just a 30-minute time frame, know that you can actually go to support@PruvItHQ.com and send your question in there, and Dr. Andy or I will get that answered. So I love people seeing their numbers. Again, number 1, if you're not new to the call. Number 2, if you're new to the call. Number 3, if you've never tried Keto OS, then put a number 3 on here so we know what your goal is with this. But hopefully I brought some value to your day. I've helped clarified what ketones are, what Keto OS is, the difference between endogenous and exogenous ketones. Keto OS is not a substitute for a ketogenic diet. It can be taken with any diet at all. You're using Keto OS to get the health benefits of ketones, which are to aid in fat loss or neuroprotective. They signal our brain for better sleep, better thinking, better focus, better energy. They help stabilize our blood sugar. Again, all this great information. If I talk too fast or you didn't have a chance to look it up, go to the health center and know that you can look up all those documents there. And know that because I had an internet issue today, that you can share this on your timeline with anyone that you want. You can share it through Messenger. You can replay it in case your question was answered earlier on and you popped on late. I know you didn't get great notification for this, so I apologize. I will be on as planned next Wednesday, 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. Make sure that you, if you didn't get your question answered, send it into support@PruvItHQ.com. Last 101 on the products. 2.1 is our Orange Dreamsicle. It is MCT oil plus beta-hydroxybutyrate. 3.0 is the chocolate swirl, or my favorite. It actually has butyrate, short-chain fatty acid, plus beta-hydroxybutyrate, plus a prebiotic called inulin or chicory, plus 2 specific amino acid. Max is Max. Max doesn't have any MCT, it doesn't have any butyrate, but it does have a blend of beta-hydroxybutyrate, which is twice as bioavailable, more absorbed, so it's going to be a little bit stronger if you want to use that word. Plus it has amino acids that actually can increase more ketone synthesis and protein synthesis. And the Max is vegan certified, kosher certified, and sport informed certified. All of them are available in charged and uncharged. Keto cream is just keto cream. It's not charged or uncharged, so you can mix it with what you want. But thank you again for being super, super patient with the technical issues today. Know that you can share this with your friends or family, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a beautiful, beautiful day, and happy Wednesday.